Today we're going to talk about Alan Menken and the history of Disney animation. Here we start with Alan Menken, born 1949 in New York City. Not just a composer for the silver screen, no. He actually got his start on Broadway, composing the music for The Little Shop of Horrors with lyricist Howard Ashman, who the two collaborated together to write the songs for The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast. He's also collaborated with Tim Rice, Glenn Slater, Stephen Schwartz, and done music for Christmas Carol and Sister Act. This guy was a Disney legend by 2002. Why? Look at some of his filmography. The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, the 1991 animated film, Newsies, Aladdin, Pocahontas, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Hercules the Shaggy Dog with Robert Downey Jr. and Tim Allen, Enchanted, Tangled, and more recently, Beauty and the Beast, the live action. But we're not going to talk about Beauty and the Beast just yet. We're going to take some minutes here to discuss the history of Disney animation. Little disclaimer here, the views here expressed are my own. Everyone classifies Disney films differently. However, what I'm about to discuss is the most widely received classification of Disney films. It doesn't include Disney and Pixar. That is a separate category. So we're not talking Disney and Pixar like Toy Story, Bugs Life, Incredibles, none of that. We're just talking about Disney animated films. So you may be asking yourself, what are the Disney animation film eras? We start all the way back in 1937 with the Golden Era. 37 to 42, this features Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Pinocchio, Fantasia, Dumbo, and Bambi. Now the Golden Era, that is a misnomer. This is the first era. It's not the most successful era. It's not the most popular era. It's just the first era. In fact, only Snow White and Dumbo were actual box office successes. Everything else was kind of eh. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was Disney's first full-length feature film. It was also the first animated film in both English and Technicolor. This era was known as the tar and sugar era. If you think of Bambi, it's like, oh, Bambi's mother gets shot. Oh, Bambi's frolicking around in the flowers and stuff. Oh, Bambi's caught in a storm, is shouting out, Mama, Mama. Dark, sweet, dark, very stark contrast, and really no transition between them. It's just like dark, sweet, dark. These films were all groundbreaking and really helped establish the genre of animated films. And they're some of the most acclaimed animated films of all time. Next we have the wartime era, 1943 to 1949, features the classics, Saludos Amigos, The Three Caballeros, Make Mine Music, Fun and Fancy Free, Melody Time, and The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. This is World War II going on right now. Most of Disney's animators are overseas fighting in the war. So, all the films in this era are short stories, or they're just a compilation of short stories. Some short stories were turned into a longer film. Dumbo, in the Golden Era, that's another example of turning a short story into a longer story. But all these are just short stories. Money was spent on the war. Disney's funding was kind of cut short. Disney sent animators down to South America and Mexico to get inspiration and to kind of keep them out of the war. We didn't want to go to war with both Germany and Japan and then have to deal with Latin America and South America and Mexico. No, Disney was like, no, we are going to help fight the Nazis and keep them out of the war by doing animated films based on where they live. Make them happy. Yeah. Disney also sent out a lot of wartime propaganda, anti-Nazi commercials and stuff. It's the least favorite era among most Disney fans. We then go to the Silver Era, 1950 to 1967. Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, The Lady and the Tramp, Sleeping Beauty, 101 Dalmatians, The Sword and the Stone, and The Jungle Book. When most people think of classic Disney animation, this is the era they think of. So many classic Disney moments. Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo from Cinderella, Lady and the Tramp eating spaghetti, being serenaded under the moonlight. This era is known for its ornate backdrops with soft colors, beautiful animation. This is the heart of Disney animation. Everyone's back from the war. Now we can get started on, working on big budget animated films. The Jungle Book, sadly, was the last animated film that Walt Disney would personally oversee before his death. So Walt Disney has died. We're at 1970, 1978. This is the Bronze Era. We have the Aristocats, Robin Hood, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, The Rescuers, The Fox and the Hound, The Black Cauldron, The Great Mouse Detective, and Oliver and Company. This era is known for its style of xerography, which is a type of dry photocopying to help with animation. It's cheaper and faster than regular animation, but it's very limited, has a lot of thick black lines. Everything kind of looks scratchy. That's why this era is also known as the scratchy era. I mean, it could be a pro if you like that kind of style, but this was just trial and error, Disney trying to find its way after the loss of such a creative genius. They went away purposefully from the happier themes to more darker and secular stories. Then we reach the Renaissance, 1989 to 1999. The Little Mermaid, The Rescuers Down Under, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Lion King, Pocahontas, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Hercules, Mulan, and Tarzan. Oh man, this is, easily the most popular and widely recognizable era, the pinnacle of Disney films. Disney went back to featuring musical fairy tales and princesses, a lot to do with Mr. Alan Menken, who featured the Broadway formula, made songs fun and easy to sing along to. Be Our Guest, A Whole New World, Hakuna Matata. It's a wonderful phrase. It just gets you singing in your seat and you're moving along to it and you just want to start singing it. All of these movies were huge box office successes. After the Renaissance, we get to the post-Renaissance era, 2000 to 2007, featuring Fantasia 2000, Dinosaur, The Emperor's New Groove, Atlantis the Lost Empire, Lilo and Stitch, Treasure Planet, Brother Bear, Home on the Range, Chicken Little, and Meet the Robinsons. This is probably the most inconsistent era in Disney film animation. They went back and forth, flip-flopping between hand-drawn animation and computer animation, and really the storytelling was really lacking, all except these films. I mean, Lilo and Stitch was the only box office success on this list. Treasure Planet had a great story, so did Emperor's New Groove. Meet the Robinsons was alright, and so is, Chicken Little I kind of go back and forth on, but the rest of them, the stories were just kind of lacking. And Dinosaur, that was really Disney's first attempt at CGI animation. And if you look back on it now, it's really kind of, it's not the greatest. You could attribute to, except for Lilo and Stitch, the lack of box office success to other franchises like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, who were really popular around this time. And really, this whole era is a transition period from hand-drawn animation to CGI animation. Now we're to the Revival era, 2008 into present day. This is also called the Second Disney Renaissance. Features Bolt, the Super Dog, The Princess and the Frog, Tangled, Winnie the Pooh, Wreck-It Ralph, Frozen, Big Hero 6, Zootopia, and most recently, Moana. Also called the Second Disney Renaissance. There's not a bad movie on this list yet. There has yet to be a bad movie on this list. Oh, we are in the right era, my friends. Disney animated films reach new heights with Frozen. Highest grossing animated film of all time. 1.2 billion worldwide. Billion! It's ridiculous. And there you have it. The Disney animation film eras: Golden, Wartime, Silver, Bronze, the Renaissance, Post-Renaissance, and the Revival, or the Second Renaissance.